How's it going, people? It's Charlie and welcome back to the Chatting Footy Show YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well today. So then this video is just going to be me speaking about the 4 major signings that we signed in the summer and just speaking about how they've impacted the team, how they've performed this season and what is expected of them next season. Also, I would just like to add that it's a really exciting time to be a Leeds fan at the minute. I think the work that Victor Orta and Andrea are doing at the moment is outstanding, and I think the club is in really good hands and they're going to take us far. So again, really positive and really exciting times ahead for Leeds United. Just before I get into the 4 players as well, I will just say please smash that like button. Drop a comment as well just to give your opinion on the 4 signings as well. And please subscribe if you haven't already. It would really mean a lot. So then guys, the first player that I'd like to speak about is a certain German international centre-half by the name of Robin Koch. We brought him in from Freiburg for around £13 million. And if I'm honest with you, prior to us signing him, I didn't really know much about him, if I'm honest. It was only when Leeds were linked with him in the first place, and I've seen, clips from him playing for Germany and for Freiburg and how he impacted their team. And it was only then when I realised the ability that I had, and that's when the excitement came from. Once we signed him, it was a really big statement, actually, from Leeds to go out and sign a German international centre-half. Again, I feel like all the fans were excited to have him on board. First few games, you could tell it took him a fair few games just to get into it and get settled within the team. Gave away 2 penalties in as many games in the first few games of the season. In his defence, though, that one at Anfield, it was never a penalty really, but anyway. And yeah, as I say, I feel like he did struggle to adapt at times. But like I say, I think after those first few games, he did manage to get settled and he formed a really good partnership with Cooper. Also strike as well when Cooper was out injured as well. And yeah, he was starting to hit some really good form, really good solid performances from him. And then he got injured against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, which was a shame. Apparently he'd been maybe carrying that injury for a few weeks, but I think it got aggravated against Chelsea and he came off, and since then we haven't really seen much of him. It's only in the last few games when he's made like literally 2 or 3 minute appearances in the last few games against Sheffield, Fulham. I think he came on against Chelsea right at the end as well. But I feel like the games that we have seen from him, next season, he should be a starter for me. I feel like we've seen enough already to know that he's a quality centre-half and he can only get better. So hopefully, into next season, he will maintain his place in the starting 11. So then, guys, the next player that I'd like to speak about is Diego Llorente, who we signed from Sociedad for around £18 million. Again, like Robin Koch, I'd not heard much of him really. I barely watch foreign football unless it's like the Champions League or something, so I hadn't heard much about him or seen him play. I did watch highlights of him though, playing for Sociedad and for Spain, and he looked a really top-class centre-half, so I was really excited about having him on board as well. But pretty much straight after signing, he went away with Spain and got injured, so we didn't see him for a while. He actually made his debut against Chelsea when Koch got injured. He came on and replaced him. Now, I know it's a hard team to come on against in your debut, but that Chelsea game I didn't rate Llorente at all. The only reason I can put that down to in terms of his performance that night was just a lack of game time, and he hadn't really fit into the squad yet. But I didn't judge him on that because of those circumstances, but I'm really glad that I didn't judge him, because what a centre-half he's turned out to be for us, especially over the last sort of month or 2 that he's been consistently in this team. I feel like whoever he's partnered with, whether it's Cooper, Strike or even Koch in the future, I feel like he's just a wonderful player. He's so calm under pressure. His ball playing ability isn't really spoken about enough. Like the way he brings the ball out of the back four, he can play in the holding role as well. Like if Phillips drops in behind, you know that Llorente can do a job in CDM as well. Seems to have an alright shot on him as well if he gets in the right position, and his heading ability is great too. So again, like Koch, I feel like next season I would like to see Koch and Llorente as the centre-half partnership. Cooper and Struijk have done really well for us this season as well, but I feel like you paid the money for a German and Spanish international centre-halves. You need to be seeing them play together. The fact that we've not seen it yet is frustrating in a way. I know it's not their fault. They've both had injuries and things, but it's going to be really exciting to see how that does if we get a new left back in as well. So next up, guys, is our record signing, Rodrigo Mourinho, who we signed for around 27 million from Valencia. I'll be completely honest. At the time that we signed him, I was really, really happy. Probably the happiest about signing a player that I have been in a long time. I just thought, the experience that he's got is quite well known as well. Like he was playing Champions League football for Valencia last season. His goal scoring's always been a bit up and down over the seasons that he's been in Spain, but he's consistently got good numbers. And yeah, that's the main reason why I was excited as well. At the time as well, I thought he was going to be brought in to either replace Patrick Bamford or contest that role up front with him. But I feel like Bamford's unreal form this season has forced Rodrigo to play slightly out of position in like the cam role, the centre attacking mid role. But to be honest with you, in the games that we've seen him there, I think he's taken to it really well and seems to have adapted really well to the Bielsa way of playing. I feel like when he gets that ball in from the centre halves, the fact that he can turn and it's a touch out of his feet and he's pinging it out to either wing, his passing's actually unreal. And to think we signed him thinking he was going to be a goal scorer, but yet he's actually provided a few assists. He's scored a few goals. I think he's scored 2 or 3 goals, I believe, which isn't good enough if you think that we signed him to score goals. But like I've just said, he's had to adapt to a new role and a new way of playing, and I feel like given the circumstances, he's done tremendously well. Obviously, as well as the other 2 signings that I've already spoken about, he has had his injuries and his moments this season. He did actually suffer with COVID as well, and he's still. You can tell he's actually still kind of trying to get over the after effects of COVID as well, which can't be easy. And I feel like, given the injuries that he's had, the fact that he's had COVID, I feel like it's too early to judge him on this season because we've not properly seen him, in my opinion. We have, but he's not been in the team consistently enough for me to have a serious opinion on him. I feel like a fully fit Rodrigo starts in our team any day of the week, if I'm honest with you. In the cam role, I feel like, as I said, Bamford's done unreal this season, so there's no way that he can take that spot from him. But definitely the cam role he has made his own, and hopefully going into next season he can maintain his fitness and he can have a really good season. I feel like next season is where you properly judge Rodrigo. If he can't keep fit, then you'd think he's injury prone. If he's fit and in the team and he's not scoring goals, then you're going to be asking questions there as well. But I feel like at this moment in time, it's too early to judge him. Let's see how he gets on next season. Hopefully, if we sign a player like Rodrigo de Paul or any other really good midfielder that can kind of help him out in there, he'll just thrive on that. I feel like the signing of Rafaelinha, who we'll touch upon in a second, could really help him as well. So yeah, as I said, let's not judge him now. Let's give him until the end of next season and see where he's at then. And last but definitely not least, we've got Rafinha, who we signed from Rennes in France for around 17 million. That's right, 17 million he cost us. Absolute steal, absolute bargain. What an unbelievable footballer this guy is. I feel like, again, same as Llorente and Koch, I'd never really heard of him prior to him signing for us. But again, you see that all the stuff that he's done for Rennes and all the other teams he's been at, and you get excited naturally. But I feel like when he signed, Bielsa still sort of had his trust in Helder Costa, and we only really saw Rafinha come on as a sub for like the last 10-15 minutes, where he didn't have enough time to have a real impact on games. But I feel like when Bielsa started to give him a chance and dropped Costa out of the team, we perform so much better as a team with that man on the pitch. The things that he can do when he has the ball at his feet, the way he just glides with the ball, runs at players, puts them under pressure, the tricks, which, yeah, sometimes they don't work, but a lot of the times they do. Absolutely ending Gary Cahill's career that night at Ellen Road. Took him to the cleaners there, as well as Osborne the other day against Sheffield. He put him on his arse as well, which was hilarious. I feel like the goals he's scored are all just really top goals, and you can see that he's only going to get better the longer he stays at Leeds. And as a season ticket holder, I cannot wait, once fans are back in that ground, for a packed out Ellen Road to watch that guy play. I feel like there'll be certain fans who'll just be like that, just in absolute awe of him. I'll probably be exactly like that, if I'm honest, because, yeah, like the last few games he has dipped off a bit, but I think that's expected. I feel like we hold him to such high standards now as Leeds fans that if he has a game where he hasn't scored a screamer, or if he hasn't embarrassed somebody with his skills, we automatically think that he's not had a great game. But even when he has poor games, he still has impacts. Fulham, for me, he didn't play amazingly well, but he scored a goal. Sheffield the other day, again, I think it was one of his poorer games, if I'm honest. But again, he assisted Harrison, and if that Jagielka didn't put the ball into his net, then I think Rafinha scores that anyway. So he could have had a goal and assist in that one, having not played that well. So I feel like that just shows the class that he has got, and what an unbelievable player that we've signed there. There's no surprise that the top six are having a look at him. But I don't think he'll leave anytime soon. I think the fans back in the stadium has to be a factor for him. He needs to play in front of a packed out Ellen Road 100%, like the other signings. As well. It's going to be amazing when fans are back in the ground to see all those four players play on the same pitch together. Because for me, it has sunk in, but at the same time it hasn't. Until I see them play in person, I don't think it's going to fully sink in that we've got this calibre of player in our team now, and it's just really good to see. So then, guys, let's just summarise this video by saying, again, exciting times at Leeds at the minute. The prospects that we've got in the summer, the likes of Rodrigo de Paul and such. If we can bring this calibre of player in, I don't see a reason why Leeds can't push for Europe next season, at least the Europa League. I think the way we play, the players we're going to bring in, the team that we've already got really are just doing so good at the moment, and hopefully we can push to that next step next season. So if you've enjoyed this video, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.